You are listening to the BlahCade podcast. I'm going to take that again because that was terrible, Jared. You are listening
That's
to...
debatable.
Take 3. You are listening to the BlahCade Pinball podcast. I'm your host, Chris Freebus, a.k.a. Shut Your Trap. Joining me as always, halfway across the world, Jared Morgan.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Sometimes, the old brain just kind of... farts out. Like last time when I was trying to figure out what those column type jewel games is. Yeah, Bejeweled. Bejeweled. How hard is that for me to remember? I played the crap out of it. Bejeweled.
When it was PopCap and not EA, and they didn't start gouging you with Smurf fairies.
Yeah.
Yeah. PopCap. Rip PopCap.
Rip. So hey, howdy, folks.
We're here again.
We're here again. We promised that we do this now and then, and that we do. So
now and again.
Now and again. Hey, we're gonna start with one of those tangents that we love so well. I went and saw this movie called Sorry to Bother You.
Oh, okay.
And it is the most bug nuts, crazy, bizarre film I've seen in a very long time.
Is it a mainstream release or an art house release?
Well, it went mainstream this weekend. So It started out art house. I don't know if they do this in Australia, but in America they do it all the time. Where they'll release it in basically New York and LA on like 4 screens, and they'll leave it out there for 2 weeks, where it'll it earns a buzz because people are like, "Hey, this movie was sold out and I can't get in," and once there's demand, then people start talking about it and get excited about it, and then they'll all of a sudden dump it on, say 1,200 screens. So it's a little easier to find and take care of, or to go see. So yes, it's an art house, and it's definitely art house because it's not a studio film, but it's getting advertisement on TV and all that jazz. But it is. I went into it having just the vaguest of concepts, which is basically that a guy, a black guy, goes and gets a job as a telemarketer and finds success only by speaking in a white guy voice, and the white guy voices are overdubbed by David Cross and Patton Oswalt. So it's not like somebody imitating what the white guy voice might sound. It's an actual, somebody else doing it.
Right.
And I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be kind of, say Office Space with social commentary.
Okay, yeah, right.
And then within minutes of the movie starting, based off some of the visuals that are happening, I went, oh, okay, maybe this is more like what a Charlie Kaufman movie would be. Charlie Kaufman did Adaptation and Being John Malkovich. So they're kind of that bizarre, it's a world you recognize, but it's hyper stylized. And obviously not the real world.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay, we'll go with that. And it just gets weirder and weirder and kind of loses focus. And then the third act hits, and it is so completely out of the blue that you could just hear odd people in the audience go, what?
You can actually hear the going, what's going on here?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, wow. And then while the credits were rolling, there were some people behind me, and they were young in their 20s, and you could tell they were struggling. Like, they really wanted to be cool and say, yeah, I liked it, but they couldn't get past the third act. And they were like, no, I really did enjoy it. I'm just not sure about. And I'm sitting there going, it's a pretty big giant thing that's going to determine if you like the movie or not. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So
it's either yes or no. Like, you don't need to try and weasel your way out of it.
And it's one of those things where it was like, I appreciated it, and I'm glad it wasn't some cookie cutter movie. And there's not a chance in hell I would recommend it to anybody unless I absolutely knew what their movie tastes were.
Yeah, it's a very acquired taste, is what you're saying.
Very, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, no skin off your nose. You saw it with your movie pass, so you're all good there.
Yes.
So that's fine. But yes, it's one of the. It does sound very bizarre, indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, but my other choice was to maybe go see Skyscraper, and so I probably think I actually made the better choice.
Do they be pushing that over here? Like it has been on very high rotation. It looks like a really bad Die Hard.
There's some of the people have even, and I think they actually did official marketing where they did posters to make it look like Die Hard. I saw a fake trailer that made it look like if it was made in the 90s, and it used, it's the exact trailer that you see currently, but it used the "In a World" movie guy.
Yeah.
And they overdubbed the kind of the cheesy 90s music that they would do with, say, like, Die Hard 2 in those trailers, and it just you watch it and you're like, oh, totally worked.
It's Die Hard 4.
But even better was that they screwed up the image to make it look like it was coming off a VHS tape.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So it's kind of washed out and kind of double copied, and the sound is popping. Like
scan lines.
It's in 4:3 instead of 16:9.
See, I would actually like if they're knowingly making homage to Die Hard,
right?
I think you can go into the movie understanding what it's going to be like. Like, there's no. Die Hard. Maybe that's an insult to Die Hard because Die Hard is a good movie, but I think if they're pitching it towards like it's Die Hard with a big modern skyscraper, go along for the ride with that one, maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get myself into the frame of reference of when I went and saw Hurricane Heist, and just kind of play with
what that is. And no, I don't want to know.
It's a movie, Jared, that I went and saw that I knew would be absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And I was hoping it would be so terrible that it'd be fun, and that hopefully it knew it was terrible, and then therefore it became fun, and it was.
Oh,
it
fantastic.
knew it was cheeseball. It knew it was a ridiculously stupid premise, and it just rode that wave and had a good time doing it.
It was fantastic.
So that was, and what's funny is that there was a couple movies that came out afterwards where I was just like, I hate to say it, but that craptacular movie was actually better because they at least had the sense to know that they were having fun.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I see. Yeah, I don't know. Sky, well, you're gonna have to see it anyhow because it is going to be free for you.
It'll happen this week. It'll happen this week. I
can't wait to see your Medium review for that one.
I've discovered something about writing on Medium, and that's if I'm not either overly excited about something or overly angry about something, then it becomes really hard to write the review.
Because it's like, no, it's all right.
Exactly, and that gets kind of boring to write. Yeah,
and that's the end of the article.
So I think I did that recently where I was like, yeah, it's all right. And oh, hey, why don't I go ahead and review 2 TV shows that I watched the second seasons of also?
Because otherwise the Medium article will be 30 paragraphs.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, geez, I read a Medium article that isn't related to movies. It was 57 minutes estimated read time.
What the hell? Why are people writing novels?
This was an article about how one guy decided to get into development, and it was like a chronicle, almost like a blow-by-blow chronicle about how he transitioned from financial background into full-stack development. And it was long, and it was designed to be long because it was essentially his documenting his journey.
Yeah, but dude, break it up.
Yeah,
it's not an ebook. We're going to a website, and
it kind of was an ebook.
I know, but you know what I mean. It's that thing where, and I've had this where you're reading an article, and it gets to a certain point where you go, okay,
I really want to keep reading, but geez.
But I also want to go look at other things. I happen to click on you, and I'm reading, and it keeps on going. And if I click away from you, then I'm going to have to come back at some point and try and figure out where I stopped reading. And that's just too difficult.
So breaking it up into individual articles and linking them through is a good approach. But at the same time, I think if I hadn't sat down and read this from start to finish in one sitting, I have a feeling I would have lost a lot of the context by doing that. So I think, and also too, if I have a jump off point, I probably won't jump back to it because there's so much other stuff trying to grab my attention. So actually I just left it up on one of my tabs in my computer and just sat there, and I came back to the tab and went, oh yeah, I haven't actually finished reading that. I'll keep reading it now. And yeah, it was literally an hour read. It was quite the same, but it was good, very well written.
I will say I would much prefer that as opposed to the clickbait things where they write 2 sentences.
You won't believe,
and then go click next, and you're like, oh come on.
Yeah, yeah.
It takes longer for your page to load than it does for me to read what you actually wrote.
Oh yeah, just because they want more ad imprints. Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, as soon as I see that something's doing that, I click off. Even if I desperately wanted to know, because usually they're also insanely badly written.
Yeah, because they have to be. They need to produce content so they can host their ads. It's not about the actual content; it's about the ads.
Right.
Yeah.
And inevitably, what I hate too is that those clickbait things. They'll show a picture. You're like, you'll never believe what this person looks like now, and you're like, oh, okay, no, I won't believe it, will I? And then you click on it, and then the article is 20 people that don't look like they do now. And you're like, oh, let me guess. They're number 19 that the picture was that I was interested in.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. You're right.
So that's why I just do a Google search, a Google image search. And what's funny is because sometimes they'll show like a side-by-side picture, but half the picture is blocked out by text. So you obviously can't see what the person still looks like, right? And then you come to find that wasn't even the same person.
Oh,
they did it on purpose to make you think that this is maybe what they're going to look like, but they use a completely different image. So yeah.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, I hate those people. Really hate
content for content's sake to support advertising. Yeah, they're horrible. Yep. The good thing is that Google is down rating all those sites now, so the clickbait, the attraction of clickbait in articles is actually becoming less and less useful from an advertising perspective. So that's good.
Maybe we need to make our website clickbait.
You won't believe the 2 things we learned about playing with no tilt on a pinball machine. News at 11.
Can you imagine? It'd be like, we have news about Farsight. Click here.
Yeah.
Before we get to the news about Farsight, let's talk about these 5 articles that are on digitalpinballfans.com.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. That would have to be the model. And it would be gross, and it would take so much more time to write too. So no.
Speaking of our website, you guys, you need to go check out last week's episode post that Jared did. So go to BlahCadePinball.com/episodes.
Yes,
and look at it. Jared went and I read off all the rankings of all the pinball games that are on Steam from that leak.
Mm.
Jared wound up linking every single table so you can see what the tables are.
Yeah, it took me a long time to write that post.
Which is really kind of nice because I had to first hand write down things on a piece of paper, and then I went to Steam, and then I was typing in the names and finding them. And it took me some time to look at everything. But man, if I had had that article, I would just went click, oh there it is, click, oh there it is. Hey, look at that. It would have been so much nicer. So yeah. If you ever want to see the kind of fun that Jared has with our podcast post
production
on there, that's a prime example of why you should visit, because he'll take a lot of the work out of it for you.
No searching required, just click. The cool thing about Medium is it lets you adjust the titles of your links. So I even put the show timing notes, the actual timing for each part of the section into the link. So it was pretty slick. I went, oh, that's quite nice. I like it.
That is quite nice. All right, let's address something that has been kind of sprung up this week, and apparently it's sending all sorts of people to a tizzy. And it's not just what's weird about this is it's not just the digital pinball people; it's physical
everything.
It's physical pinball people because it deals with scientific games.
Our friends at Scientific.
So obviously, Scientific has licensed out, at some point they had done this, licensed out the Williams stuff to Planetary Pinball. Planetary Pinball was making pinball parts with the Williams design, basically, Williams patents. Now, Planetary also, correct me if I'm wrong, Jared, they're the ones that did Medieval Madness?
Yes, they do all the remakes.
They're doing the remakes.
Yeah.
Okay. So when the license got pulled for the Williams and Bally tables for Farsight, apparently that also sent the physical pinball world reeling, because they were then suddenly wondering, well, what's going on with planetary pinball.
Yeah, right.
Because now I'm not sure if I'm getting my information correct here or not. See, this is what happens when you don't frequent real pinball sites and you're only on the digital ones. But did Planetary get their licenses yanked also?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think this is what people are worried has happened, which I don't think it has at all.
I don't think so.
The reason why people are worried is because all of a sudden they're finding video of the slot machines that Scientific has done that have, like, one that's called Funhouse, and look, hey, there's Rudy on the spinning wheels and all that kind of jazz. Now, the funny thing is that these videos apparently are old, like a couple of years old.
Right. Okay.
But only now people are seeing it,
and they're trying to draw conclusions.
Trying to draw conclusions, right?
Yes.
So the conclusion being that Scientific yanked these from Farsight so that they could
make
not have competition and have slot machines.
Yeah.
The funny thing about that is there is no competition, folks. Slot machines, completely different beast from a pinball machine.
Very different.
And very, very completely different from a digital pinball game that you would play at home.
Yeah.
Now, some have said, and I don't know if this has been a thing yet, that Scientific might be making these. When we say slot machines, we're not talking about the old 3-reels. These are now fully. I mean, God, last time I was in Las Vegas and I saw one of these, I was like, it's a video game. It's
I
didn't even know what the heck was going on, because there was like 10 5 reels across, 10 rows down, and things could match up diagonally and not just in straight lines, but there'd be these. Yeah, it was like, I honestly, and I believe that's the point, is you confuse the person to the point where they're just like, I don't know, I'm just going to keep on feeding dollars in until I win.
No, well, the reason why they do that, and because I used to work at a poker machine company doing phone support ages ago, back in the year 2000, and the reason why they do all those extra lines and all the different combinations is because it actually makes you feel like you win more. With the 3-reel like crossways and diagonal ways, you don't have as much chance of actually getting a payout. So it makes you feel good when you win. So you win more, even if it's 20 cents.
Yeah.
It still makes you feel like you're winning, which is why that they have the multiple lines now. Or, like, you can win 30 ways on one poker machine. It's like, yeah, that's the reason. Because it taps into that little part of your human brain that goes, oh, I won. Oh, that's a little trip, whatever it is, the chemical that makes you feel happy.
Yeah.
That one. And and it just keeps on basically trickle feeding that chemical into your brain and keeps you putting your money in. That's how it works.
So apparently, Scientific might be looking to make mobile apps of their slot machines.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that would be purely for fun, or if it would wind up becoming real gambling or not.
It's Scientific. It wouldn't be just for fun. There'd be some reason for them to actually put all the effort into making a video game with poker machines in it.
Well, but part of it is if you get people addicted to it at home on their phone,
and go and play it,
and then they go and play the real thing, and they can actually win money at it, they'll feel like there's a film in there. They walk into the casino and they see it and they go, "Oh wait, I play that and look, I win all the time on my phone."
Exactly, because the odds are like 50% return,
right,
instead of like 10% return. Yeah, I mean, exactly.
God, I know. The first time I ever went to Las Vegas, I had a gambling game on my old Mac Classic.
Wow, that's a long time ago then.
Right? And boy, I was so good at playing Pai Gow on that, and I was pretty good at playing blackjack, and I was like practicing the crap out of that before I went to Vegas. And then I went to Vegas, and it was just like, how come it's not like in my game?
Yeah.
I don't understand. So yeah, I imagine that would be. But anyway, point being is that people are thinking that this is why it's all being yanked, but it's not pinball, and it's a completely different thing. Now, I side with people when they say that they don't believe that Scientific will develop. There's no money in it for them with the pinball aspect. But I don't side with the opinion that they're just going to completely shutter this and lock it in a closet and not do anything with it. I think, if anything, it's they give the keys to the car as well as the car and go, hey, have fun, don't crash. You know,
pretty much. I mean, geez, I think it's Scientific. If they wanted to, they make T-shirts with bloody Belly Williams stuff on it. If they thought there was money in it, like honestly, because they're in the business to make money.
Because Farsight really thought that they had a line on it, and this was a little bit ago, to get the entire license to the point, like right now, or I shouldn't say right now, what it was with Farsight, they couldn't do any modifications to the tables. They had to put them out exactly how they were on production release. So there's where you take Cactus Canyon and you go, well, actually, I think Farsight cheated on that one. There wasn't supposed to be stickers on the front of the pop-ups for the gun shootout.
Oh, they weren't? They're just supposed to be black, were they?
They were just blank. That wasn't part of the production run.
Oh.
In the the designer's version, yes, those were there.
Yeah.
So I mean, little innocuous things like that, where you're like, well, why not put that on?
And things like LEDs, like they couldn't actually put LEDs in the game. But then when they redid Black Knight, basically the lights were essentially LEDs that they put in.
But they were supposed to make them look like incandescent.
Yeah, which they didn't. They were bright as anything, which was good because you really needed it on that table. But, yeah, I mean,
so that was their deal. They were really shackled by the fact that they couldn't do anything to them. And so they thought that they were on the track to be able to get the license outright and be able to do then whatever the heck they wanted. And that, now we know, didn't happen. It just went on to be season 7 or 6 and 7 instead. And that's where it stopped. So I gotta believe that if Scientific has given the keys to the car to somebody else, that's the deal. It's pretty much going to be like, you know what? Don't bother us, please. Just go do the thing. Yeah, and kick us a check, and we'll be happy.
Yeah.
But
pretty much. I think that maybe, in hindsight, if Farsight made that approach to Scientific in 2012 and said, we want the lot, can we have it outright?
Right.
Maybe, because the pinball resurgence really didn't pick up at that point. So they probably could have got it then.
Well, not only that, but here's the thing, though. Scientific didn't have it back then.
Oh, that's true. It was still WMS Holdings back then, wasn't it?
Right. And I don't think WMS Holdings was willing to do that. So I think when everything shifted over to Scientific, the Farsight just kept on, doing what they had been doing. And I don't know if they assumed that they had to stay within that model or not, but I think that, in an effort to not rock the boat, they just kept on doing business as had been done previously.
Business as usual. Yeah.
Business as usual. So, okay. Why are we bringing all this up? Bringing it up because there was a article posted in This Week in Pinball, which
For those of you who don't go to This Week in Pinball, which would be probably very few of you, it's basically the guy who runs the site, and his name escapes me, but he puts so much time into reporting on pinball news. It is incredible, and if you haven't checked it out, you should go.
Yeah, he said he basically spends about 30 hours a week on the site now.
It's essentially a full-time job for him. It is insane. So it's so good, and it's all free, and it's really, really, it's such a good service for the pinball community. So do check it out. And
well, actually, I'll go because it's taking up so much of his time. He's actually looking for people to now kind of be patrons of the site.
And that's fair enough too.
From anywhere from being, kicking $2 his way to doing $25 a month kind of things. So, by the way, happy anniversary to This Week in Pinball, because that was the other thing they've been. I'm not sure how long it's been up and running. It's not that long, but anyway,
I think it's like a year. It's not been long at all.
Yeah. But anyway, it's an excellent site to go to. He does a really good job of kind of grabbing all the various news that's been happening in the pinball world and putting it into a newsletter form. And now and then he dips his toe into the digital realm, which is why I had written an article for their site about digital pinball. So here we go again with dipping into the digital pinball thing, and the article is titled "Rumors About Bally Williams' Digital Recreation License." And what this came from was a Facebook exchange between some people, basically talking about scientific and how it relates to planetary pinball. And as one person said, regardless of who owns the rights, I think this is a bad look. I know there are a lot of pinheads who turn their noses up at virtual pinball. Yeah, there are. But it can't be a coincidence that the meat space pinball has grown in popularity since Pinball Arcade has been out.
So meat space in this context is where you go and actually play physical pinball on location.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought there was something very different. I thought it was a play of words for Facebook pinball or something like that, like meat space. Right. That horrible social media site that was like MySpace. I thought they were referring to that. So they went, oh, hang on. No,
meat space is a new dating app.
It's quite right all the
time. And so the conversation kind of goes back and forth with talking about planetary and how they're involved with it, and yeah, the general look of this and everything. And then it kind of goes with again, it's question, and then all of a sudden our friend Brad Baker from VB Cabs types in these 4 words: "There is a plan." And that has sent everybody into a tizzy. Because what do you mean, Brad Baker? What plan might you be referring to? And of course, because he's the first person that's come out and said anything in the, like, with the idea that he knows something, of course, everybody's going,
latched onto that and go, right, mate, spill it. What's going
on? What does Brad know, and why would Brad know anything? Brad makes VP Cabs virtual pinball cabinets. Brad has maybe talked to Scientific Games, and maybe Scientific Games has talked to Brad because Brad has, like with how he's got the license for Zen Pinball on his cabinets, maybe they're going to go and do an exclusive license with him to do Williams tables.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem, folks. Brad doesn't design software. And
he designs pinball cabs.
Designs poker games. Or, well, you call them poker machines, don't you?
We call them, poker machines, yeah.
We call them slot machines. I guess in England they call them fruit machines.
We call them pokies actually here, because everything has to have an IES or like an O on the end. It's like Garbo for a garbage collector, or pokies for poker machines. Yeah, it's an Australian thing.
So yeah, so they're thinking, oh, that means maybe Scientific is making the game. And again, I just kind of go, why would Scientific decide that they can develop a digital pinball game? What's in it for them? They're already making and throwing the bare amount of effort of using their Williams license to make it on these slot machines. Why would they?
Just an art swap. That's all they do with simple things. Yeah.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with designing physics and getting into the video game arena, which is, I mean, completely different market. Absolutely. But that's not...
There really is only on poker machines about 3 or 4 different software variants that you can run. So the patterns and everything like that, it really is just swapping out art assets in most of the time. So it's it's just different art.
But it's still interesting to go, so what does Brad know?
And what does Brad know?
Then did he get this information from Scientific Games?
Which would be weird, because unless he has signed a contract with them, I would suggest that they wouldn't be telling him anything. Like, why would they? Like, there'd be no reason for them to go, oh, hey, over a steak and a beer, for example. Oh, hey, these licenses are up for grabs and we've already got someone doing it.
Right.
You know, why would they do that? Right. So it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
It does.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, we've done so much speculation on this already. And we had an entire episode about speculation and where our thoughts are. And so there's certain leaps and bounds I'm willing to make that I'm surprised other people have not been making. But I'll just let people make those because I don't feel like speculating on that anymore. It feels like
we're done with it.
Look,
if you want to hear what we have to say about this, then you need to go back to all the speculation episodes because it's laid out for you.
Exactly.
In those. So go
and nothing has changed in that entire time.
No.
So that's the point, basically. No news has come out since we've done those speculation threads. So
that's right. So our position stands.
Exactly. I did want to mention with looking up at Brad and saying he even recently just posted a picture of his Shark Tank guy Damon or Demon, I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, the guy that the shark that funded him showed a picture of the guy playing one of his cabs in some sort of game room.
2 years ago now when we interviewed Brad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they're still engaged. Like the shark that actually took up his proposal is still engaged in the business and working with him.
And when all the Arcuda madness was happening regarding the software that was being released, I saw quite a few posts of people with it running on their VP Cab's Vertigo machine. So it was good to see his stuff out there in the public's hands. I was quite pleased to see that.
Yeah, it is good.
But one of the features that relates to him is that he has a license for Zen tables on his cabinet.
Yeah, he does.
He's not the only one.
Yeah. And that was the interesting thing, eh?
Yeah.
We wondered why that was this week.
Yeah, we did a little poking around, and what kind of got me was on Twitter when Zen has been out and about doing any of their promotions trade shows. They've been promoting this championship cabinet that they have. And I was like, well, how come it's not the VP Cab's cabinet?
Yeah.
And it's because they don't have an exclusivity on it. They've just paid a license fee. And sure enough, the people that are making this championship cabinet, same thing. They've got a license
to use it in public, essentially.
To use it in public that they've paid Zen to be able to do this with. So further poking has established that it's not like their licensing deal. It's not that they basically went and purchased everything and loaded it for you. They're paying an additional fee. There's a royalty fee on top of it from what you, the regular consumer, are able to buy. Basically, what that allows them to do is brand the outside of the cabinet with Zen art, if you will, and then use it in their promotional materials.
They get access. I think as part of the deal, they must get access to all the art assets that Zen has. Yeah. And then they allow them to do stuff with it.
Yeah. So I was poking around on Zen this past week, and I clicked on their cabinet mode. Not that I have a cabinet, not that I have my screen oriented or anything, but I was just, for some reason, I clicked on it and discovered some things. First of which, apparently you have to contact Zen, and then they will give you a cabinet key.
Yes.
I did not.
And I saw this as well when I accidentally clicked on it the other time when I first got Zen on Steam. I went, oh, what's this button? Looks like a pinball machine. I want that. I want to know what this does. Yes. So it's like this unlock key or something for the software.
Yeah. And I thought, well, that's interesting because that's kind of like what Arcuda has with the key. I was like, so we're not completely different from what Zen was doing. The other thing that I noticed was I kind of went into a frequently asked questions setup kind of thing. And Zen's not the easiest thing in the world to set up either. You still got to set up how your screens are. You got to set up what the resolutions are.
So very much like setting up your own game when you first load it up on Steam. You've got to do all that upfront.
Yeah, you got to do all of that.
Playing right.
You also, if you want the back glass, it's not in the file.
Oh, okay.
You have to actually get the backglass images elsewhere, and not from Zen, but it's almost like people are doing Google searches and finding them. They give you some ideas of where you can find this stuff in that frequently asked question, but I was like, why isn't Zen just giving it to you? Other than the fact that maybe because Zen never made a backglass.
Oh yeah, I mean that is true as well. So I'm muting my microphone because I got a lot of background noise happening at the moment because of the children.
Children, how dare they have fun on
until they go back to. Oh, I cannot wait until they go back to school. It has been horrible. Anyhow, I'll go back on mute and I'll unmute myself as you keep talking. Please continue.
Please continue. So yeah, I realized that until Zen started doing their VR tables, yeah, they had no use for a backglass. There was never any need for it. So I just kind of found that interesting. So I'm wondering if it's that users are generating their own backglasses for the Zen tables, and that's why they're not included with that. But that was really kind of shocking to me to find that out.
Well, it's interesting because, with FX2 VR, all the cabinets do actually have back glasses in the game. So Zen would have the assets somewhere for those. So it's unusual that...
Well, and I'm sure as they do more and more of the VR tables, that people will just use whatever Zen has made for the back glass. They'll crack into they'll lift it, find it, and use that. But there's plenty of tables that obviously they haven't done in VR, and therefore Zen wouldn't have made back glasses for.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that is very interesting, isn't it? So you don't get everything. You get the ability to play it in a cabinet with the DMD sort of integration where it should be, but that's it.
Well, and you realize, too, that even for a company like Zen, when they do cabinet mode, it's not just flicking a switch and going, ta-da, you have cabinet mode now. There's actual work that has to go into it. Actual development. And, I know people kind of take this stuff for granted, and then they see it in one company and they expect it in another. But now we kind of it was interesting to kind of have that revealed to me, because up until this past week I wasn't aware until I clicked on accidentally clicked on that button.
Yeah, no, it does seem that there is more work than people think when it comes to cabinet mode. So yes, you're quite right, and I just don't think people get that. Like, it's just one of those things they just take for granted. It's like, oh, it's just cabinet mode. It's just next to screens. Just make it work. It could, 2 weeks worth. Go on, make it happen.
The other thing that people have been screaming about this week, and I've gotten emails about it. I've gotten messages on Steam about it. I've got messages or read posts in the Digital Pinball Fans site. So Farsight came out with the new table packs, or the new organization of table packs.
Yes.
And within those, there are the 3 Stern games that were from Stern Pinball Arcade, being AC/DC, Mustang, and Star Trek.
And Star Trek, yep.
Problem being, they were put into packs of tables that people already owned all those tables of, because they just went and bought all the packs prior to the license release, or the license loss.
The panic bought everything.
Panic bought. Now, there's a pack that apparently has Star Trek and AC/DC within it, and that's, I think, $20 or something of that nature, which is fine because each of those individually would have cost $10. But then there's the pack that has Mustang in it, and that pack is also $20. And people are like, well, I have every single other table. I'm not paying twice the price just to get Mustang.
Yeah, so it's not worth twice the price.
Right. So, of course, everybody's wondering, well, when am I going to... How do I get these? Do I have to buy them in a pack?
Yeah.
I can say this. Be patient, folks.
Just wait.
Wait.
Please, just wait.
It took some time just to get the stores set up with the new organization of packs. I don't think Farsight is intentionally trying to hose you at all.
No. They just got it wrong, basically.
And I went ahead and sent a message trying to find out, hey, when is there going to be a time frame for when these tables will be available for individual purchase? Because, people are starting to wonder. But I'm not going to feel the least bit sorry for any of you that then went and double dipped again because you couldn't wait.
Yeah, just cool your heels, cool your jets, and wait. Keep your money.
And conversely, because this hasn't come into effect yet, I don't think. But Farside has also said, yes, there'll be cross-buy if you'd purchase this stuff in Storm Pinball Arcade.
Yeah, that's right.
That it will be available in TBA. But I don't know that that's been implemented quite yet either.
Probably not, no. Because they probably had to actually just get the storefronts set up first.
Right.
So again, cool your jets.
Cool your jets. Yeah. Basically what Farside did was they took what they did for the Switch, since the Switch never had, other than that one day for a few hours, never had Pinball Arcade. They are basically modeling their stores and the packs off of what they put out for the Switch. If you're a Switch owner, hey, you're buying everything just the way you wanted to buy it. Ta-da! If you're on any other platform, obviously you were doing the license scramble and you don't want to get hosed.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a matter of time. On the same hand, you can't buy any DLC currently for Pinball Arcade in Steam. All you can do is download the base game. That's it. Every other purchase you make has to be done in-app.
Yeah.
And I know people aren't happy about that either. But again, it's only got to be a matter of time before they post to Steam a proper storefront for the DLC.
Yeah, because why would they limit it to in-app only? Like, there's no reason they can't. I just don't know what's involved in actually provisioning packs in Steam. It must be a lot harder than we think it is.
Well, I mean, I really don't know. I know that setting up the stores for Microsoft and Sony can be taxing.
Yeah, because it's all done with a spreadsheet, from what I remember.
Right.
It's pretty horrible.
Yeah. So they might have been doing things to make sure that they get it right at first. So then they can go in and do the whatever tweaks they need to be able to do these packs. But again, just patience, folks. Patience. All will be fine. I know you're desperate for new-ish tables on Pinball Arcade.
Because it's tough. Like the lack of monthly DLC is taking its toll on people's patience.
Well, what's crazy is I don't hear anybody going, "Hey Zen, it's been 4 months since we've had a table."
No, they don't. Just go, "Oh look, we know that Zen takes a while to release things, so when they release things, they'll release things."
Right.
So, but I mean, that's the expectation.
Because right now we're pretty much due for an announcement from them for a new table, just based off of what their release schedule typically is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
is every 3 to 4 months they drop a new table. Now, I will say that they dropped some rapid fire at the beginning of the year, at the end of 2017 and the beginning of 2018. They dumped quite a few, and they have just released VR for was it the Universal or no? Yeah, I think the Universal.
Yeah, it was. It was Jaws and stuff, and Back to the Future. Yeah,
Back to the Future and ET. Yeah.
Yep.
So there has been content released, but it's still kind of funny where nobody holds them to the fire for not having released anything. But boy, Farsight, it's like, what? They haven't released a table in 2 months? Oh no, the studio's dying. It's dead. Yes. Oh no, how can they? Yeah. How can they be financially successful? If you heard our podcast last week, folks, 550,000 downloads in Steam compared to 64,000 downloads of Zen in Steam.
Yeah.
So, do the math.
Doing fine. Thank you very much for coming.
They're doing fine. Yeah. When you have that many more downloads than your rival company, and your rival company is a bigger studio,
doing okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, those are kind of the hot topics this week. I just wanted to chime in. Yes, we're aware of them, and
that's our take on them.
That's our take on them. Just kind of like, I know you're antsy for news, but chill, people. Chill. Just
yeah, just wait. Particularly when it comes to buying things and Farsight, just wait. Like your money is not going anywhere.
No,
just go to the Stern app and play them in the Stern app, or it's
if you already own them in the Stern app.
If you already own them in the Stern app, yeah.
That being said, I wouldn't be forking any money over to the Stern app at this point because things are going to be changing.
Yeah, so, they know that they're going to be like, we already know that app is probably going to change dramatically, and that's why they're merging all the tables into the core app. So don't buy anything through the Stern BlahCade app.
Yes. And I heard there was one thread too where somebody was talking about Pinball Arcade and Stern app and why is there nothing, and they're like, then they went, that's okay because Guardians of the Galaxy is gonna be the next table. It was like, what?
Really?
Boy, you sure did. You put your stamp on that one, didn't you? Do tell. Where's this information coming from?
Yeah. It's like, oh, really? Just drop that and leave, eh? Okay, fine. Far out. People.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't mind tooting our own horn when I say, folks, trust us. We know digital pinball.
We do.
We are the only podcast devoted to it. We frequent the forums daily and scour through them. Like I said, people contact me all the time and ask questions. We are in contact with Farsight. We are in contact with Arcuda, although that's not the software end of things. That's the hardware end of things.
Yeah. But we've got our fingers where we need to have them.
Right.
So we get advanced notice of news that, we talk about.
So that we can actually, yes, we love to speculate, but sometimes we can actually say things definitively.
Yeah, because we actually know. It's kind of nice.
We will always couch when we're speculating, like with big waving flags. But other times we'll just be like, come on. So
this is a thing.
This is a thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Come to us for the laughs and leave with the knowledge.
In some cases.
Laughs are definitely debatable.
Yeah. Your mileage may vary.
What's that?
Your mileage may vary.
Your mileage may vary, yeah. But as one reviewer said, I like to laugh at myself, so there you go.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to draw this to a close then. Make sure you go ahead and follow us on Twitter. The show is at BlahCade. Jared is at Jared Morgs. I am at Shut Your Traps. Be sure to also, why don't you go ahead and, if you are playing the Zen Pinball FX3 and you're going, I need some different variations on this, have you joined my weekly tournament? If not, go into the tournaments tab in the filter, enter in Shut Your Trap, and there you will find the weekly tournament that I post. The post usually goes up on Monday and it runs through Saturday. And so it's always a 5-day tournament. And it's a great deal of fun. The other week, I think I made mention where the scores were separated by less than 400,000 points.
Yeah, boy, that was close. Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes competition is fierce. Sometimes there'll be somebody that just completely smokes you and everybody else. And it's just like, where did they come from? It's a good time. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Again, search Shut Your Trap, join in on the fun. Visit the website. Oh, write us an email, why don't you? You can do that by typing in BlahCade@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, things you'd like us to talk about, drop us a note there, and we will certainly respond and see what we have to say.
That's right.
Alrighty. Beyond that, I guess I'll go and go see Skyscraper this week and give a report on it next.
Die Hard 4 of 5. I mean
6.
6. Oh, really?
Well, you're fine if you completely ignore 5 because it is abysmal.
Right.
Just utter.
It's forgotten.
Oh my gosh. It is crap to the highest order that just makes you feel insulted that they are calling that a Die Hard movie. And it's literally, if you ever want to see the definition of Bruce Willis just doing it for the paycheck, and he does quite a few movies just for the paycheck. That one is a prime example of him just doing it for the paycheck, because you can just tell he does not care. He's going to just say his lines and go, ah, and fire a gun, and that'd be the end of it. You watch the first Die Hard, watch the first 4 Die Hards, and then watch that one, and it's like, what the heck? So,
what are you doing, Brucey?
Yeah.
All right.
Enough of that. We're out of here, folks. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again next week.
See you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.